You've done the work, you've faced your shadows, healed old wounds, and finally stepped into the life you've always wanted. But instead of feeling free, you feel uneasy, almost like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Have you ever felt like that? Well, if you have, trust me, you're not alone in this one. No one ever talks about this, the fear of joy. Brené Brown calls it foreboding joy, that moment when happiness creeps in, and instead of savoring it, you brace for impact. When struggle has been your default for so long, suffering feels safe. But joy feels uncertain. And to your nervous system, uncertainty means danger. So far in this series, we've talked about self-trust, how it's the foundation for breaking free from resistance. We explored self-sabotage, why we unconsciously block our own growth. And we tackled self-worth, understanding that you don't have to earn your place in the world. And now we're here, joy. The thing that you've been working so hard for, but if deep down you don't feel safe having it, your mind and your body will push it away. Why joy can feel so unsettling after healing, how to finally stop resisting the very thing you've been craving. I'll break down exactly why your brain resists joy, how to prepare yourself to receive it, how to keep it, and how to fully embrace it, even when it feels impossible. And stay with me till the end, because I'll be sharing a simple but powerful shift that will help you stop fearing joy and start trusting it. And if this is something you know you need deeper support with, my Resistance Reset 8-week live coaching program is designed to help you break through these hidden blocks and finally move forward. I'll share more details about that later, but for now, let's get into it. Welcome back. My name is Francis, and let's talk about this big misconception. Most people believe that once they heal, happiness will just show up like a prize waiting for them at the end of the finish line. That's a very common but big misconception. Joy isn't something that magically appears. It's something you have to allow. It's not just a feeling. It's a practice. And if you spent most of your life in survival mode, constantly bracing for impact, scanning for threats in your environment, or waiting for the next thing to go wrong, then joy will not feel natural. It will actually feel risky, because when you're happy, you have something to lose, and the mind hates that kind of uncertainty. Let's talk about why your brain fears joy. Your brain is wired for predictability, even if that predictability is suffering. If struggle has been your default, then peace, ease, and joy will feel unfamiliar. And what's unfamiliar? Your nervous system flags it as unsafe. This is why people sabotage themselves when things are finally going well. We talked about this in the self-sabotage video. If you've been through chronic stress or trauma, joy can actually trigger a fear response, like something must be wrong because things feel too good. Psychologists call this the defectiveness schema, and it's a subtle belief that tells you something must be wrong with you, or that happiness is just a setup for disappointment. So your brain will scan for proof that you don't deserve joy, or that it'll be ripped away from you at any given moment. And when it finds even the smallest sign, boom, self-sabotage kicks in, trying to protect you. Here's something ancient traditions have always known. Joy is our natural state, but most of us were conditioned out of it. If struggle ran deep in your family, if your parents, grandparents, or ancestors lived in survival mode, you might have inherited an unconscious loyalty to suffering. Part of you may feel like embracing joy means betraying them in some shape or form, like you don't have permission to be happy if they never got a chance to be. And here's the biggest block of all. Joy requires trust. It means surrendering to life instead of trying to control it. And if trust has ever been broken for you, that kind of surrender can feel really terrifying. So if you've ever caught yourself thinking, this is too good to be true, something's got to be wrong with this one, something bad is coming, or I don't know how to just be happy, you're not by yourself. A lot of people think this way. I've heard clients say this over and over again. But here's what you need to know. This doesn't mean you're doomed to sabotage yourself for the rest of your life. It just means that joy is something you need to learn how to hold on to. And if you've ever wondered why joy feels so uncomfortable, why your mind starts looking for a problem the moment things are going well, there's a reason for that. Let's talk about what's really happening inside of your nervous system when you start experiencing joy. So if joy is something that we're meant to feel, why does it sometimes feel so uncomfortable? So let's clarify something. Your nervous system isn't designed to make you happy. It's just designed to keep you safe. That is the biological component. And if you spent years in fight or flight mode, constantly bracing for stress or disappointment, your body literally doesn't know how to relax. Stillness, peace, and happiness, they just don't feel normal. They feel foreign to you. This is why people who've struggled for a very long time often feel restless when things finally get better, when the boredom hits their lives. It's not that they don't want joy, it's that their body doesn't trust it. The nervous system interprets the unknown as a threat, even when the unknown is something good. There's a modality in therapy called internal family systems. I often do this sometimes with my clients, and it's all just basically talking about like working with different parts of yourself. And so when something is going on with you that is trying to protect you from something, it's called protector parts. So they're subconscious defenses that say to you, if I expect disappointment, I won't get hurt. This is why you might sabotage happiness without even realizing it. Your brain believes it's keeping you safe from the unknown, from the letdown, from being disappointed. And often, sometimes joy can feel like you're losing control. In many spiritual traditions, joy is seen as an expansion of energy. But if you've spent most of your life in contraction, restriction, tension, guarding your heart, shielding yourself from pain, then expansion can actually feel quite overwhelming and even unsafe. Think about it. Joy asks you to be fully present, to open your heart, to trust life. But if deep down you've been taught that joy is fleeting, undeserving, or just too fragile to hold on to, you'll struggle to let any of it in. And so shadow work teaches us that real healing isn't about avoiding pain. It's about learning to hold both joy and pain without fearing either of them. I know this too well because I've experienced it, and I still have to like catch myself and say, are you allowing the joy to come into your life? Or are you pulling yourself out of it? Are you savoring the moment? Or are you trying to rush past it? You know, growing up in a household where there was a lot of unpredictability and people's time was limited. You know, I grew up in a household where folks were working several jobs, and the household was more about survival than it was about joy and expression and fun. And so I took that mindset into adulthood, right? The immigrant story, work hard, pay the bills, put food on the table, that sort of thing. Who had time to tap into joy? And so when I had my son, I was like, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We did a lot of activities together, and that started to get me into the practice and the habit of having a good time and actually enjoying life. I say this to say I had to rewire my brain to accept joy into my life by practice. There are moments where there are things that I wanted that I didn't get, and I started to reframe it to like, oh, that wasn't my time. Or if it was for me, then it'll come back to me. I started to believe that like God gives us detours that are necessary for our growth. And so if things did not come into fruition, then I was like, oh, okay, there's something protecting me from something else. And so I'm not going to ask any questions, because what I found that when things come full circle, I was like, oh, okay, that is why this didn't happen. I was being led in this direction for better and not for worse. So I do believe embracing joy is really about reframing how you think, how you feel, and how you approach situations. So how do you break this pattern and actually let yourself experience joy without pushing it away? So the first step is to prepare for joy, same way that you prepare for the struggle. Think about it. Your nervous system already knows how to prepare for pain. You spent years bracing for the worst, anticipating setbacks, expecting struggle. But what if you trained your body to expect joy the same way? Start by asking yourself daily, what would it feel like to allow joy today? Even if it is just for just one moment, just for a few seconds, because joy isn't something that randomly happens to you. It's something you practice, it's something you choose, and it's something that you are welcoming in. So the second step is about building your capacity to hold joy. Joy isn't a thought, it's an experience in your body. And if your body has spent years associating ease with danger, you have to retrain it to hold joy instead of rejecting it. You start small. Let yourself feel joy just for a few seconds. Then you add some more seconds, add a couple minutes, and a little while longer. You could use breath work, grounding exercises, and physical movement to teach your nervous system that joy is safe. Because the more you feel it, the more you can keep it, because your body will begin to recognize it as an association of safety. And then the third step is reframing your fear of joy. When your mind starts saying, this won't last, something bad is coming, remind yourself, I can feel good and be safe. Instead of seeing joy as fragile, fleeting, see it as renewable. Just because something ends doesn't mean it wasn't real. Right now, you have permission to feel joy, not because life is perfect, but because you are allowed to. And here's the last step. Make joy a practice, not a destination. Happiness isn't a finish line. It's not something you have to chase. It's something you can choose daily in small, ordinary moments. So instead of waiting for some big external event to justify your joy, look for micro moments, the warmth of the sun on your skin, a song that makes you dance, a quiet, peaceful breath, a cup of coffee in the morning. Joy doesn't have to be earned. It just has to be received. Here's a simple but practical shift that you can actually do right now. I want you to try something with me. Right now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Obviously, if you're not driving, don't do this while you're driving. But right now, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And think back to a moment when you felt completely at peace. Maybe it was laughter with a friend. Maybe it was the sound of the ocean waves when you're at the beach one day, quiet moment with your favorite drink. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Now, don't just remember it, feel it. Let it settle into your body. Let it remind you that joy isn't some distant, fleeting thing. It's already inside of you. The question isn't whether joy is available to you. The question is, will you let yourself receive it? This is your practice, learning to hold joy, to breathe into it, to trust it, not just once, but over and over again. Because the more you allow it, the more it stays, the more it becomes familiar. So if this resonated with you, if you felt yourself resisting joy, pushing it away, or struggling to hold on to it, I want you to know that this is just the beginning. Because healing isn't passive. It's active, but not in the way that you might think. Healing isn't just about doing the work. It's about being in conscious self-awareness. And it's not about perfection. It's about noticing. It's about noticing your patterns, understanding your resistance, and making the internal shifts that create real change. And that's exactly what we're diving into in my next live session. So hit the notification bell now because you don't want to miss this live conversation that'll be happening soon. I'll be announcing the date shortly, and I have something special planned. I'll also be going live with a very special guest, someone who knows exactly what it means to move past resistance and embody joy moment to moment. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to fully live in alignment, this conversation will show you. And if you're serious about these shifts, if you're ready to fully step into a life where joy is your default, not your fear, then check out Resistance Reset in the description below. It's an 8-week live coaching experience where we'll be together, just 20 people max, designed to just help you break free from self-doubt, help you stop self-sabotaging, and finally live fully aligned with the life that you desire. Finally take that leap. No more waiting, no more playing small. It's time. Remember, joy is your birthright. You don't need permission. You don't need to prove you deserve it. You just need to receive it. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. What's one way you're choosing joy today? Let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the other side of change.